Hi, this is Paul Kautza. I'm the Director of Education for the Data Warehousing Institute. I'm here in our Las Vegas World Conference with Laura Reeves, Principal and Co-Founder of StarSoft Solutions. Laura, I think you and I have known each other for a year or two, right?
Oh, 1 or 2 decades.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, and we're here today to talk about the keynote that you're going to deliver for me at our Chicago conference in May. And the theme for that conference, the feature track for that conference is business-driven BI. We've been in this business a long time, and we talked about shadow IT for a long time. We talked about business-driven BI. But I think those things are really coming to the forefront and really becoming real because we're seeing the next generation of business users, our kids that have grown up in the technology world with the smartphones, with Xboxes, with everything that's out there, and they're now coming out of grad school with business degrees and not at all concerned about any of the technology pieces. So it's this whole chasm that we're trying to figure out how we cross between business and IT, just as we have for the last how many years, but trying to figure out how we get that conversation going again. And then really a lot of it revolves, as always, around the data. And I think the title for your keynote is Data, the Real Power for IT. And for business. So would you mind sharing a little thoughts about some of the things you've seen over the years and where we're going with some of this?
I'd be happy to. And this is actually a topic that's very near and dear to my heart because over all the years that I've been involved in data warehousing and business intelligence, the focus is so much on all the exciting new technologies and things and breakthroughs and new and different ways and easier ways to get at and use technology. But at the end of the day, all of that has to be driven by data. And in order to make that helpful and useful to anybody across high levels in a business or on the line in the business, what you need to do is you need to have an understanding of what that data really means. And so we also see a proliferation of different kinds of data that we're capturing and collecting, and we need to be able to get our arms around all of that. And so I think it's real important to work together collaboratively to make sure we don't just move columns of information or collect bits and bytes off of some sensors or the internet. What we need to do is make sure we understand what does that mean, and then how would we be able to use it to actually make a difference in how we conduct our day-to-day business, hopefully all to improve the bottom line. And so what I want to talk about and share in Chicago is a little bit more about some techniques as far as how do we engage together. Business people knowing a little bit more about the data itself, technical people learning a little bit more about the business and how they look at data so that we can bring those two perspectives together so that we can actually engineer and construct some components to support the business community.
Yeah, and I think that's very important. And one of the things that I get concerned about as I look at the landscape of what's happening in the data world with all of the big data, all the semi-structured, the unstructured, with the structured data, is that proliferation of data and the proliferation of people just going out and doing their own thing against each of those pieces. I'm really worried about a whole new group of stovepipe solutions and stovepipe pieces. And I think some of the things you're going to touch on in your keynote is how techniques on how to bring all of those pieces together so we don't end up with stovepipes. Is that correct?
That's correct, because what we want to make sure is that we know how to link different kinds of data together correctly across the organization. Now, there is definitely still a place for people to be able to dive in on their own and do exploration and find new insight to the business from data without having a whole lot of a IT-based project surrounding that. And that's exciting that we can do that better than ever before. But the challenges come when I now want to share that with 50 or 100 of my closest friends, and I need to be able to create a sustainable, maintainable environment that will be automated as far as loading the data and provide a consistent result. So I think what we need to do is make sure that we don't stifle creativity and keep people away from data because it's out there, let's leverage it. But what we want to do is make sure that as we do that, when we find these new and useful insights, that we are able to map that unstructured data and tie that and link it to other more transaction-based customer information that we've got, and to understand what are those links and what are the ones that are relevant to the business community. And we figure that out by partnering and working together.
And I think that's very important from the standpoint of the business users that are out there today and the data that we have. It always is going to come back to that foundation of data. It's not the sexy topic. It's not the next shiny object. It's always been there. But I think we always look for that silver bullet, and we're going to be coming back, I think, to a very, very foundational piece of the data. How good is the data? What can I do with it? What analytics can I put against it? Regardless if you're really into big data, if you're using traditional data, if you're using whatever technologies you're using, you still really have to have a foundational understanding of your data and how you want to link it and integrate it.
Well, that's right, and even just things as simple as knowing what the data represents, because if you don't know what the data represents, who knows whether it's really what you're looking for and will help you with your decision making. So that's what we're looking for.
Terrific. Well, I'm excited about it. I think it'll be a very good keynote, and I think we've got a very good course lineup for Chicago around business-driven BI. So I hope we see you May 11th through 16th in Chicago. This is Paul Kautza, Director of Education for the Data Warehousing Institute, and you have a good day.